Hi, everyone. I had just realized 2 seconds ago that I am an hour early for this broadcast. I normally come on at 1 o'clock. I am not feeling well, and I guess I just wasn't thinking. I don't know if it's the time change or what. I'm sure it's my cold and me not feeling well, excuse me. But here I am an hour early, so I am just going to go ahead and do the broadcast. Hopefully, those of you who are looking for me at 1, you'll be able to catch the rebroadcast. So today, I thought I would talk about the conference that I did on Saturday, the Franklin County Women's Conference. I spoke on a subject. Let's just say, imagine that you're just walking through life and things are going really well, and you're loving life, and things are connecting. You have a great marriage, you have a great job, and then all of a sudden the rug just gets pulled out from under you, whether that's a divorce, a job loss, pulled into someone else's drama, whatever that situation is. And then you're just thinking, now what? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And, please be patient with me. I don't feel well, but I really wanted to be here for you guys and, stick to my commitment for my broadcasts on Mondays and Wednesdays. And again, I do apologize for being an hour early. So what I'd like for you to do is, since I kind of talked about what we're talking about today, if you could share that out, with anybody that you're thinking, wow, Mary could really use this, or Bob could really use this, or Sam, share it out and let them know what's going on. We're going to talk for maybe not as long as we normally do, but I would say probably at least, 15 minutes, I'm hoping. So share your comments in the comment box, and, I will be able to talk with you about the questions that you have. And, if I won't be able to reply to your comments until after the broadcast. If you're watching this broadcast on any other Facebook channel, or I guess I should say the posts from anywhere else other than my page, my business page, which is Cheryl Piper, and you can reach me there at Cheryl Piper Sends Love. That's where you need to watch the broadcast, because I won't be able to see your comments if you comment anywhere else. So please let me know if you're watching live. Just, throw a comment in there that you're watching live. Or if you are watching on the replay, just comment replay and let me know. I reply to all comments. So I'm just excited to move into this story with you. So I think what I'm going to do is pull myself down and just allow the PowerPoint to be up. And we're going to walk through just a few things that I discussed in my presentation on Saturday. And, thanks, Joe and Trudy. Thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you. So we're going to talk about now what. You're just in a situation where you think everything's just going along smoothly, and all of a sudden the rug just gets pulled out from under you. So moving into exactly what I do, and I've shared this with you before, but I really do like to put it out there, because my only job, for those of you who don't know me, my only job is to help you to discover and release or let go of the things that are holding you back from living the life that you want or the life that you desire. So that's my only job. And so we're going to be here today talking about those things that can kind of stop you in your tracks. And I just like to throw up, these are just certifications that I have. And as you can see, these are a few of them, but I throw my category into being a relationship coach because I think that pulls it all together in a nutshell. Because whether it's your relationship, with business, with your business colleagues or your management or your employees, if it's your personal relationship, being your spouse or friends or family, or if it's your relationship with yourself, that's what I do. Help you in those areas. So moving into what we're talking about today, are you angry? Are you disappointed? Are you fearful or stressed? Are you holding on to something from your past that's pulling you down or holding you back? And sometimes we don't even realize what it is, but there can be things from our past that we can't even put our finger on. But we know that each time that we try to move forward, we get excited about a new prospect. We get excited about a new situation that we're in, and we're all gung-ho to move forward. And then all of a sudden something happens that, just puts up a roadblock for us, or, puts a wall in front of us, stops us from moving forward. We feel almost like we're being sabotaged, and that sabotage is coming from inside. And so to be able to discover those situations that are just kind of held there in your past, and then releasing them so that you can move forward into the life that you want by releasing all of that negativity and moving into the life that you want. We're going to talk about, and I know I talk about this a lot, but I wanted to put the slideshow up here for you today. We're going to talk a bit about neuroscience because it all comes into play when we're looking at the amygdala portion of the brain. As you can see, this is the area of distrust as I'm moving the cursor around the amygdala, and the red letters that say distrust. And then all the way over in the green where it says trust, this is the prefrontal cortex, or the executive brain. This is the newest part, or the youngest part of our brain. The amygdala, its only job is to scan for threats. That's what it does all day long, every day. It is looking and scanning for threats to protect us. And this was very necessary. As you can see, it's the reptilian brain, the primal brain, whatever you want to call that. In the time to keep us alive, when we're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, or, to get away from whatever it is that is threatening our life at that moment. That's its job. But we still have that part of our brain, and it is still scanning for threats. And when it deems that there is a threat, meaning someone is coming at you and speaking in a way that kind of makes you put your guard up, or let's say, as we started off here, you're walking through life and everything's great, everything's going really well. And then all of a sudden, boom, the rug gets pulled out from under you. Your spouse says, I want a divorce. Or the rug gets pulled out from under you. All of a sudden, you lose your job. Perhaps no fault of your own, but just situations, whatever's going on in that business. And do you think maybe that your amygdala is going to get a little activated and go into a fear threat mode? Because that is, those two situations I just described are very big, life-changing situations. And when we get thrown into what's called an amygdala hijack, meaning our perception of the world gets really small and really tight because we are in a fear state of mind. And so therefore, how we view the world is from that perspective. And remember, perception orders reality. And so if our perception is fearful, if our perception is, oh, I have to protect everything I have to protect myself, then that is what's ordering our reality. And that is how we're seeing the world. And so in moving through these life challenges, and I know we all move through them, this is part of our job here, is to see the lessons and to be able to transcend. Because I truly believe that if we don't face our challenges, that we can't transcend them and turn them into wisdom. And that's what I look at as being my goal in the situations that happen in my life, is to be able to move through and share with you and help you in situations that you're going through. And so moving forward, and being able to step into acceptance of what's going on. And once we get that amygdala under control, and oh, hi, Joy, how are we? Good to see you. Thanks for showing up and thanks for supporting and putting your comment in. It's great to see you. I appreciate it. So in looking at that amygdala hijack and reconnecting that prefrontal cortex, that's what's so important, because I am going to back up here for 1 second and let's look at this again. Because in looking at the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, I wanted to let you know that this area is connected. And when we go into that amygdala hijack, that is where that connection is broken. So in the space of our prefrontal cortex, this is where we connect with people. This is where we co-create. This is where imagination lives. This is where inspiration is found. This is where we just are in a conversation with someone and it feels like time is just standing still. The energy is flowing. Ideas are flowing. We feel like that we're just, solving all the challenges of the world, or whatever the task is at hand in front of us. But we're co-creating with others. When that threat is deemed to be in our presence and that amygdala takes over and we go into a full amygdala hijack, that connection is broken between the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system or the limbic brain. And so we can't think in that co-creating, inspiring way. As I was mentioning before, we are in that space of protect and fear. And when we are in that space of protect and fear, here's an example for you. How many times have you been in a situation, it happens to all of us, where someone is coming at us in a threatening mode? Maybe it's in a business meeting and maybe it's with a client, and we go into that full amygdala hijack where it's flight, fight, flight, freeze, appease. Those are the things that we're looking at there. That's what happens. And we can't think straight. We can't think. And the reason that we can't think is because that connection has been broken to that executive brain. It's been broken to that area of creativity. And so later on, we're sitting there and we're thinking, well, I should have said this and I should have said that. And yeah, because in that moment, that connection is back because we're in a relaxed state and we aren't in a threatened mode anymore, and we're able to think clearly. And so a lot of the things that I do, whether it's, conversational intelligence, whether it's heart math, all of these things are designed to keep us connected with the mind and the heart, keep that flow going between the limbic system or the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, so that we can think on our feet, so that we have resilience, and we can call on that resilience because we've practiced this. We remember this. We've learned it. We've rehearsed it, so that when we're in tough, stressful situations, this becomes the automatic rather than freezing, fleeing, appeasing, and not being able to be fully connected. So then moving forward into what we're talking about here, into acceptance, because when we move into acceptance of situations, I often say that suffering comes from not accepting what is. And I know that sounds very Zen, but it really does. And I'm going to lay that out for you in a pretty quick way, because I know we're kind of coming up on our time here that I like to allot for these talks. This one may go a little longer. Like I said, I'm sick. And here I am. I'm going and going and going. So in looking at all suffering comes from not accepting what is, I like to bring the serenity prayer. It always reminds me of that, pulling the serenity prayer into this, because, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the wisdom. Wait a minute, see, I'm sick. Oh my goodness, the strength to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I'm doing that off the cuff, and I guess I got I'm a little fuzzy headed. But that is so important, because if there's something that we can do about a situation, then we move into the direction of doing that. But if it is a situation, say it is a divorce, and you know what? That person wants a divorce, and there's nothing that we can do about that to change their mind. It's happening. It's moving forward. We're moving through different stages of grief. I have a whole program on this. I'm not going to be going into all of those right now. Actually, I think I'm going to do a webinar. I'm going to do a webinar for this, of actually moving through all of those stages. So look for that in the coming weeks. I'm going to schedule that for April. But stepping into acceptance, having that wisdom to know the difference between something that you can change and something that you cannot. Because so many times we just want to control, and try to feel that we're in control, and we're holding on to something that we can't change. We're trying to actually change another person. The only person we can change is ourselves, and how we're going to view a situation, how we're going to step into the acceptance of that situation and move through it. So that's why I wanted to bring up acceptance, because being willing to step into acceptance is huge. It is a huge step in moving into true forgiveness. And when I say true forgiveness, I'm talking about a situation where you can speak about something that was a really traumatic situation in your life, whether, like I said, it's a divorce, it's a job loss, being caught up in someone else's drama and pulled into a situation, whatever that was. And when we move through that situation and move into acceptance and truly let it go, It does not ignite one single cell of weakness, of pain, of guilt, of anger, of any of those negative type emotions that will hold us back. When we've truly forgiven, we can speak about these situations with wisdom, because that's the magic of it all, is when we allow ourselves and we're willing to step through these challenges or lessons in life, that clarity comes in and we're able to see what that situation or that lesson was about. And when we let go of it, it doesn't have any control or power over us. And then it turns to wisdom. That's the magic. It turns to wisdom, and we're able to share that wisdom with others and help them in moving through their challenges or their lessons. And moving into that clarity, stepping into what I call the hindsight moment, or I guess that's what I've been calling it. It's just something I've kind of made up. A hindsight moment. And what that hindsight moment is when it's that space between an event happening and when we are in that hindsight moment of seeing what that situation was. We're seeing how, oh, that had to happen for me to move through to get to this. Because without that lesson happening, I wouldn't be here. And I like being here. This was good. This was a positive move for me in my life. But boy, when that rug got pulled out from under you, could you see that hindsight moment? Could you see that clarity? Were you in the true forgiveness of letting go of the situation? No, you were in a full amygdala hijack and completely fearful and not knowing how to move forward. But in stepping through the lessons and moving forward into that clarity, into that forgiveness, and to that hindsight moment, it's all clear. And when I speak of the hindsight moment, I talk about it in a way that between the time of the event, the situation that happened, and the hindsight moment, that space in between is where suffering is. That's where the pain is. That's where moving through the situation resides. So the shorter that space can be from the situation happening to reaching the hindsight moment, the happier a person is, because we spend less time in suffering. The longer the space is between the situation happening and the hindsight moment being reached, if ever, because I mean, how many of us know people that are still talking about situations that happened 10, 20, 30 years ago, and they speak about it as though it happened yesterday. And if you didn't know, you would have thought it happened yesterday. They are still in the full amygdala hijack. They are still in the full experience where the pain and the suffering is very, very real. And so moving through into acceptance, being willing to step into acceptance, moving into that true forgiveness, moving into the clarity of the lesson, into the hindsight moment, creates that space where we can release, and it has no power over us anymore. And that's a wonderful place to be. And we move through these lessons in life. You know, another one will show up, and it's how quickly can we move to the hindsight moment. You know, seeing the situation happen and acknowledging, well, this may be the worst thing that's ever happened to me. You know, acknowledging that. And now what? Hence the title of my presentation, Now What? How do we move through this and to the other side of it? So, like I said, I think I'm gonna put this up as a full webinar. I designed this for the Franklin County Women's Conference, but I'm I'm going to put this up and we'll do some online webinars. I will put that information out there for you. So the law of attraction, I'm going to speak on very, very briefly because it has to do with everything we've been just discussing. Like attracts like. What energy are you putting out? Because guess what? That's what's coming back to you. If you're always talking about a negative situation, if you're projecting out that you're a victim of this and it's always going to be painful, I'm never going to move through it, that energy is going to be coming back. If you move through with peace and into the space of peace, love, compassion, kindness for yourself, for the situation, for the lesson, that's the energy that you're sending out, and that's the energy coming back to you. Remember, we don't attract what we want. We attract what we are. And so if we want to attract positive energy back to us, let's project that out. If we want to attract kindness and compassion and love, let's put that energy out to all of those. The world needs it. We all need kindness and compassion. And even if we don't agree with what the person is stating, we can give them respect and compassion and kindness to listen to that point of view. It doesn't mean we have to agree. So upcoming events that I have, I'd like to go through that at the end of our broadcast here. Tri-State Women Retreats is a new project that I'm working on. I'm working on it with a few other coaches from the area. Our first event is going to be April the 26th. This is going to be a monthly event that happens the last Thursday of every month if you are in the tri-state area of South Central Pennsylvania, Maryland, and the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia. You may be interested in attending this. It's designed for connecting with women and not competing, because together we can lift everyone. And that's what it's about. It's about food, community, and growth. It's held at Hempen Hill. It's going to be 6 to 8. It's $25 a person, which includes a light dinner, the program, and connecting with other women. And just to let you know, we haven't even really pushed this event out yet, and 25% of the tickets are gone, are already sold, because it's a limited seating situation. So just to let you know. And also Conversational Cocktails, my webinar. And this is designed around a lot of the neuroscience that you saw a little bit of today, but it's designed around conversations, because I love to talk about this too. That report I saw about 2 weeks ago by Stanford University, 9 out of 10 conversations missed the mark. We have a real challenge now with communication and clear communication. Conversational Cocktails webinar is designed for that. It's designed to help you communicate with those around you, whether it's business, personal, and even with yourself, to understand what's going on in situations. So check that out at the Conversational Cocktails area of my website, CherylPiper.com. And then, as always, join me live on Facebook every Monday and Wednesday at 1. Like I said, I'm not feeling well today. It's for some reason I booked it at 12. I guess there was a mental message in there somewhere. Things always work out the way they need to. And join me Sunday evenings for Sunday evening meditation here live on Facebook at 8 p.m. It's designed to get you ready for your work week, to ease you into Sunday evening so you can have a restful night and wake up refreshed, ready for the work week on Monday. You can find me at Cheryl Piper Sends Love on Facebook. Please like my business page. And I just really appreciate your patience with me today with not feeling well. And I really wanted to share this information with you. Please put your comments in the comment box. Oh, Suzanne, yes, Hempen Hill, Well, Hempen Hill actually has a private room. That's where we're going to be. So yes, if you're out in Hempen Hill, it can be noisy, but not back in the private room. And that's why there are limited seating ticket. They're limited tickets. It only holds so many people in that private room. So grab your tickets before they sell out. I will see you on Wednesday, and Wednesday our show is going to be at a different time too. Maybe it's just going to be that way this week. Our show on Wednesday is going to be at 1:45 rather than 1 o'clock. My guest, Jennifer Sacco, she's not able to be on the broadcast until 1:45 just because of her schedule. And she is the founder of Remarkable Women, and she interviews women all over the country. And she has so many great things to talk about with women, connecting with women and not competing. That's her message as well. So please join us Wednesday at 1:45. I will put the broadcast out so you'll see that the time is different. And I will be interviewing Jennifer. Have a great day. I will see you Wednesday.